everything about this final episode of season 7 was just mind-blowing. I just scared my cat. Oh my god. What did I just watch? Anyway, I'm sorry I don't look my best right now. Today was a cozy day at school. So cozy to me means wearing a hoodie that is 2 sizes too big for me, something that I can cuddle into when I'm sitting at my desk and I feel like I want to go to sleep. It's also hence why I really don't have a face full of makeup, because at school I don't really feel like wearing a face full of makeup when it's going to just slide off anyway. And I really need to film this video because I have a lot to do this week and this weekend. By the way, if you are watching this video right now and you have not seen Game of Thrones at all, or even the season finale of season 7, then please go away from this video because this video has a chock full of spoilers. I don't like to be spoiled, so I don't want to spoil you guys, so just go away now if you haven't seen anything. Okay, so this finale was close to 80 minutes long, which is apparently how long the episodes in season 8 are going to be. So that's like an episode is worth an entire movie. So I am perfectly fine with there being 6 episodes in season 8 because 80 minutes per episode is so much better. Although I'm still disappointed that season 8 will be the last season, and I'm just not ready for that, even if I do have to wait like 18 months, I think. I did hear that they are filming in October, so there's that. So maybe come winter we will have some like set photos and we'll kind of figure out what's going on. Alright, anyway. So the last episode of season 7 was very, very interesting, and that is a good thing. Like a good / bad thing, where it's a good thing that some things happen and it's a bad thing that they had to happen, but it's also good that you get to find out what's going to happen in season 8. I don't think I explained that correctly. So let's start with the fact that Jon and Dany finally got it on. Yes, I understand that's kind of incest because Dany is Jon's aunt and Jon is a Targaryen, but people don't understand that Targaryens mate with their family. It is totally normal, yet people still find it disgusting. Like, how can that even happen? It's not going to work. It better work because we've been waiting for this forever. And plus, they're totally beautiful people. Did you not see that scene? Which, by the way, we got a glorious view of this. It should be totally unfair that these two beautiful people are more than likely going to procreate. More on that later. But that scene was definitely hot, and I was so excited for it. I think I literally squealed when I watched it. Another thing that happened in the episode was that Samwell Tarly came to Winterfell with Gilly and Little Sam. We didn't see much of Gilly and Little Sam, but Samwell went to see Bran. And of course Bran has this same brooding, weird expression on his face like he always does lately because he sees things now. And Bran reveals to Sam that, you know, we have to tell Jon something, that he's not a Stark, he's a Sand, which is another bastard name from where Jon was born. But Sam's like, no, that ain't true, I got something better. So we're thrust into a vision of where Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark actually get married, and then their baby is born, and of course Lyanna dies, but this makes Jon Snow the true heir to the Iron Throne. He's not a bastard, he's a freaking prince. He is Prince Aegon Targaryen, people. I had to look up Aegon Targaryen in Google just to figure out who he was, and now I remember that he's the little baby that people thought got killed, but really he wasn't killed. He's been Jon Snow the entire time. So I hate that this had to happen in the very last episode of season 7, because now we have to wait at least 18 months to find out whatever the hell happens later. Another thing that happened that I'm really not surprised happened is, you know, everyone came together in the Dragon Pit so we could form an alliance with Cersei to fight these Nightwalkers. And it was so pleasing and satisfying to see the look on Cersei's face when the White Walker came charging at her. Like, Yes, that is what's going on while you are worrying about keeping your family together in King's Landing and trying to rule Westeros. This is what the real battle is about. Sadly, this did not spur her decision to band together with everybody else and fight the Night Walker. She just really cares about her family and her supposedly unborn child. The good thing about this is that Jaime finally saw her for who she was, and he's just like, I don't believe you, which according to the actor Nikolai, he was like playing that line as basically saying, I don't love you anymore and I don't want to be around you anymore, so goodbye, thank you Jaime, I always knew you were a good guy. So Cersei is basically left alone. And one thing that did bother me is I did read a Reddit spoiler where it had the entire summary of the episode because I seriously could not wait forever to watch it, so I needed something. And it was supposed to be like a full description of what the episode is supposed to be like. They got everything right except one thing was missing, and supposedly Cersei was meant to wake up in the middle of the night and she's like covered in blood, her bed's covered in blood, because what it seemed to be is she miscarried or maybe someone attacked her, but that was mysteriously left out of the episode, which I didn't really appreciate because I was looking forward to it. I don't know, maybe it's just a deleted scene or they just didn't think it fit, but another good thing happened. We finally get to see Littlefinger meet his doom. And he was trying to plot Sansa and Arya against each other. And it did happen, especially with the episode where Arya basically threatened to kill Sansa and take her face. Littlefinger tried to make Sansa believe that Arya wanted to be Lady of Winterfell and kill Sansa. However, when we go to the trial where Sansa is telling Arya, like, you know, all her crimes, treason, murder, she turns to Littlefinger and is like, how do you plead, Lord Baelish? And Littlefinger is literally begging for his life. He is crying. He is on bended knees. He wants to live. It's actually very hilarious, especially the fact that Arya slices his throat and you barely even see it happen. And he just lays on the floor bleeding and people are just staring at him. Like, nobody goes to help him. It is just amazing. Like, thank the lords, thank the 7 gods that 7 seasons have finally happened and Lord Baelish, Littlefinger, is dead. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Thank God. So we know what happened in the previous episode at the very end. Viserion, rip. He was turned into an ice dragon, Nightwalker dragon, whatever you want to call him. And at the end of the episode, we see Tormund at the wall. He sees the White Walkers coming, and then he's like, oh, the wall is protected by magic. They can't get through. Then we hear the familiar screech, and it kind of reminds us of when Daenerys came to rescue Jon, and we heard the screech of Drogon. No, we see Viserion flying, and the Night King is guiding him. Like, really, the Night King is on Viserion flying, and it just feels like a total betrayal. I know Viserion could not have done anything because, really, he's dead. He didn't really see that spear coming. It was really like a shock, so I don't blame Viserion, but still, it's like the Night King has to ride a dragon. That's Dany's thing. No. We see Viserion, the ice dragon, basically shoot ice from his mouth instead of fire. It completely destroys the wall. Well, not the entire wall, but there is like a gigantic space right smack dab in the middle. I have no idea if anybody survives this destruction. I don't know if Tormund's alive, and it really scares me. My friend Victoria said that Tormund has to be alive, but I mean, I don't know, I'm really scared. They walk through the wall, and that's where the episode ends. Like, they're headed straight to Westeros, to all the kingdoms, to raise hell. Now that's done, let's talk about the theories that I think may or may not happen, or that I believe in. I don't know. There's a ton of theories already going around about season 8. Let's start with what I said in the beginning, you know, with Dany and Jon procreating. There is a theory that Daenerys is not really barren. If you think about the prophecy that she was told, it doesn't really say that she's not going to have any children. I mean, she did kind of sacrifice her unborn child to save Khal Drogo, but really he wasn't really saved. He was really put in like a coma or something like that. He was a vegetable. And plus, in the episode, Jon and Daenerys were talking about that, and they did the whole foreshadowing thing, saying like, you know, oh, Jon tells Daenerys, don't believe what that little witch said. And of course, they got it on in the last episode. So we know damn well for sure that there's going to be a Targaryen baby, and I cannot wait. Can you imagine how beautiful that baby will be? It's got a mix of Jon Snow, Aegon Targaryen, and Daenerys Targaryen. That does sound kind of weird when you say that loud. Oh well. Another theory I want to point out is that at the end of the episode, if you didn't notice, when there's an aerial view of the White Walkers, you can see a direwolf in their whole formation. So people are linking that to the fact that Bran is the Night King, which I can kind of see a little bit, because when you know that one episode where the Night King actually touches Bran and Bran gets all freaked out. I thought it was also interesting, now that I think about it, how before that scene happened, before the Night Walkers totally destroyed the wall, we caught a sight of Bran and his eyeballs were all white. I don't know if that was because there were ravens flying overhead the wall, or if he was the Night King or something like that. I can kind of believe that theory, and I kind of can't, because it just, I don't know, it doesn't seem logical in my mind, but then again it does, so I'm kind of like shifting back and forth between it. If it does happen, I do think that would be very interesting and be very sad, but it kind of throws the Starks off, you know. Okay, another theory is that Jaime will kill Cersei. Now this would be totally enjoyable, because when Cersei was told that prophecy by the witch, it mentioned she will be killed by a Valancourt, which in Valyrian means little brother. Jaime's a little brother, and so is Tyrion. So really it could be either one, but clearly it's probably going to be Jaime. There's another theory connected to it where Arya steals Jaime's face, she kills him, and then she kills Cersei herself. So really it's kind of the same situation. Either way, Jaime is supposed to kill Cersei, and this one I do believe, because we have not seen that part of the prophecy come true. The other part has, where her 3 children died. So we're still waiting on this one, so I'm hoping this comes true. I think it'd be kind of bittersweet for Jaime to do that, because he's been through so much crap with her, and he's finally left her behind. I just think it's time for Cersei to just go. I don't think she deserves a happy ending. She's done so much in this series, and none of it's forgivable. I can't do it. Going back to Bran, there is another theory with Bran where people believe he started the whole thing. He started the whole Game of Thrones series. They're saying that he is the voice that the Mad King was hearing, and of course that drove him mad, and we know Jaime killed the Mad King. So when Ned Stark heard about Jon Arryn's death, you know, that's basically when the whole feud with the Lannisters and Stark started, and that's how all this started. So Bran tried to talk to the Mad King or something, and the Mad King just grew crazy because he couldn't really see Bran, but he could hear him. So that kind of makes some sense, and I think that'd be so crappy for Bran. Either way, if one of these theories comes true for Bran, his life's just gonna be crap. Like, I feel bad for him. His life's been pretty bad since episode 1 when he fell from the tower. I know he's not our favorite right now because he's so egotistical about, oh, he can see visions, but still, that's kind of a crappy options right there. Another theory that I find very interesting is the Prince Who Promised theory. Never pronounce this correctly, but it's the Azor Ahai. Anyway, so people are believing that Jon will be the Prince Who Promised, and he will marry Daenerys, which will make her the Nisa Nisa. If you have ever heard of this tale, the Prince Who Promised, aka Azor Ahai, killed Nisa Nisa to bring about the Lightbringer, which is a sword. And apparently Jon will have to do just that in order to actually win this whole thing. Like, in order for the whole series to end, and he'll have to do that. I don't know, it seems too far-fetched. I don't think he'll have to kill Daenerys to actually win. I mean, we all know he's going to find out he's a Targaryen in season 8. But even though that may cause a rift between him and Daenerys, I don't think he'll actually have to kill her to even accomplish anything. That seems kind of silly, but this is Game of Thrones, so God knows what they'll do to us, right? So you guys remember in the episode where Cersei was talking about the Iron Bank and how Euron was apparently going there? There is a theory that the Lannisters will ultimately be their downfall, which I totally believe, because now with Cersei by herself, she's going to make some stupid decisions that's going to get everybody killed. And apparently, from what I read, whether this is right now or in the future, the Lannisters' debt is paid, so really the Iron Bank has no interest in them whatsoever, so they won't really help them in this whole debacle. So really, the Lannisters will have nobody, or I should really say Cersei, you know. Cersei's really by herself right now, so this causes her to be very vulnerable. So she might end up teaming up with everybody else, but I highly doubt it because Cersei is a bitch. Let's ask the big question here that everyone has on their mind. Something that people get asked every day if they are a Game of Thrones fan. Who do you think will be on the Iron Throne in the very end? Well, I've thought about this, and I've always thought it's going to be Daenerys because that's just who I see actually getting to the throne because she's worked so damn hard to get where she is now. However, I don't think there will be an Iron Throne. Something will happen. Okay, if we go back to season 2 when Daenerys went into that crazy fun house and she actually was in the throne room where the Iron Throne is. She was in King's Landing. But if you remember, the whole roof looked kind of charred and there was like ash falling around her. She was so close to the Iron Throne right there, but it looks like the kingdom itself had just crumbled or was just caught on fire. Dragons, hint hint. So I don't think there will be a King's Landing anymore, which would be interesting. It would kind of be like starting over. There will be no King's Landing because we do have to remember some of the things that she saw did come true. So we have to remember that. I do think that would be very interesting in the final season. I do think it'd mean like a fresh start, and I think that's what everybody wants, because if that happens and Cersei's dead, then we can just start anew. And if Daenerys does get the Iron Throne, she can help rebuild it. She kind of keeps her promise about not destroying kingdoms, but then again, it doesn't really explain the burnt city and the ash, which can be caused by fire, and she has 2 dragons, unless someone finally gets that horn that controls the dragons. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There aren't really many theories out there right now. Some of them are ridiculous, and I haven't mentioned some of them because they are ridiculous. But the ones I did mention are ones that I think could have a possibility, or they're ones that I hope will happen. So I guess we'll have to see in 18 months. What is your favorite theory about Season 8? What do you think will happen? Tell me in the comments. Tell me anywhere. Email me. DM me on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever. Tell me what you think. What do you want to happen? Who do you want to be on the Iron Throne? Do you want Westeros to be completely destroyed? Are you Team Night King? Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys later.